When you share your story, how much of it do you share? Do you share just the good bits? Or do you include some of the times when you felt you'd failed, the challenges you've had, and so on? Now, that's kind of the opening line to a talk I delivered to my business network today, which kind of prompted me to come in and just have a chat about that with you, because in terms of your storytelling, I think it's so important that you include some of those times when life wasn't going quite so smoothly. And what tends to get in the way, so I find from talking to people as well as what goes on in my own noddle, is that we fear that it's going to get in the way of our credibility. If we admit that we did something wrong, or that there was a time when we were so consumed with self-doubt, which is often where the idea of failure comes from. It's usually in our own head. It's not usually a tangible failure, although it can be. But we get so concerned about what other people are going to think if we tell them about a time when things were hard for us. But what if that was to be reversed? What if, by sharing some of those stories when things weren't quite so golden and glittery for you, that actually you increase your credibility? Because that's what I think will happen for you. Because the whole point about storytelling is to draw you closer to the right people to do work with, the people who you can help and who feel drawn to choose you to work with, as opposed to anybody else that does what you do. And whilst, yes, they need you to be good at what you do, of course they do. And I have heard people say, oh, but I can't share those stories. People expect me to be at top of my game. That's fine, you are now. All you're doing, all I'm suggesting that you do, is to share some of those times of maybe how hard it was to get to being top of your game, or some of those days where you don't feel like showing up at the top of your game. Because the lessons here are, what do you do to get through that? And that applies whether you're a business owner, a performer, whatever it is. There will always be some of those stories that aren't so glittery, aren't so shiny, that make you a whole person. They show a little bit of the person behind the polished professional, is the phrase I like to use. So, but it also allows you to reframe those challenges and what you have labelled as failures and have hidden away and locked away. So don't consider them a failure, consider them a key part of your story of success, and get out there sharing them.